Alright, I wanted to give you an update on the chickies. This has not been uneventful this time around. I'm not sure if it's because I had a change in the medicated feed. I bought a 50-pound bag of a different brand than what I'd used previously. Or just if we got some not as good chicks as we'd gotten last year. But in any event, they're growing like crazy and they're eating like crazy. We had to change the bedding out yesterday. Pretty amazing how much these guys eat. They just non-stop eat. In fact, this week I'm probably going to cut their food back to where they only eat 8 hours a day, or maybe 12 on 12 off, that type of thing. You're supposed to cut it back. I normally didn't do it till after the second week, but I'm already seeing a couple of them kind of laying over on their sides and stuff where they're having a hard time supporting themselves, so they may be growing a little too fast. Here's a group that's done the best. They're starting to catch up to where you can't tell the difference between the two groups as far as size. Super nice active chicks, but I've lost 2 out of this group, the healthy ones. And I did have 2 cases of the pasty butt, and I always forget to film because it's kind of an emergency when it happens because it blocks up the whole system. In fact, yesterday the one, when I ran the warm water and kind of cleaned up the butt, then set it back down, then it just started pooping like crazy. So, the pasty butt basically plugs them up where they can't poop. And so it's something you got to keep an eye on. But I've had 2 from this group that there's no evidence of any problem. They're nice, healthy looking chicks and just pass away. So it's a strange situation this time around. I may go back to the previous hatchery that I used last year. I think it was Cackle, and see if I have better luck like I did last year. I had 3 batches, and I think I only had 2 pass away out of 3 batches. And here I've got 2 batches, and I've got 8 chicks, so this is not good. Anyways, let me go out here and show you some of the babies, because we've just had some rabbit babies like crazy. We had some more the other day, and it looks like she might have a whole bunch in there. It's always nice in the morning when one of the chickens stops and lets me pet it. Hey, baby. Yeah. Making some cute noises. Okay. Is that enough? That was nice. So let's go to the board here. So it turns out my first 2 rabbits that I'm going to show you over here, that I wasn't quite sure. I knew there was quite a few babies. It turns out there's 10 each in each one of those. And then this is the one that I graduated out, where there were 9 in that one. And then this is the one that had problems during birth, and she ended up laying some out in the cold night, and they ended up not making it. The gray white down here, I looked at them the other day, and she only had 3, but they are massive because, they're getting plenty of milk and everything. And then this one was just born, what's today? 14th. So these were just born yesterday, but we'll try to take a peek and see what they look like. They were tiny little babies. So here's the ones that were born on the 5th. And look at those suckers. They are starting to fill up the nesting box. They are huge. Now these, she's kind of got them covered up, but they're only 1 day younger. I don't want to pull them out, but they're like, Mama, you normally had us uncovered, but I didn't do the heat lamps last night because it was only like in the 50s. Let me pause this. I'm going to pull these other ones out. All right, here's the other ones. There's so much hair in here that she's really fluffed these guys up, but these are just really large. When they have small litters, they get really large, but I have to admit the survival rate for these small litters has never been as good as when we have larger litters. But I wanted you to see these guys. She's already a multicolored And so even when I made her with the white, New Zealand white male, you can see we get some different colors in here. They're like, turn that light off. Now I wanted you to get a peek of some babies that were just born yesterday. And these are all the way in the back of the pocket the way they're supposed to be. Now this was a mama that hey chicken, hush. Hey, hey. Not gonna be quiet. Bathroom's backed up again, they're trying to lay eggs, but this was one that had laid her babies on the wire last time. She was just too young, and now you can see she's made a nice pocket way back in the back like you're supposed to. And they usually catch on, but there's quite a few babies in here. So that's really encouraging. It looks like they're going to do really well. I'm going to put them back in there. Now those last babies I just showed you, I don't actually handle them at this time unless she just laid them in the wrong spot, and I'll put them in the back. I usually wait until they're about a week old, then I'll go in and get a good count on them. But I can kind of tell there's at least 8 in there, so that's a good quantity. I wanted to show you one of the mamas that I told you some of them are a little bit aggressive when you're fooling around this morning, man. Last couple days, she's just giving me fits, so I want to show you what can happen when these things are a little aggressive. Like I said, the brown ones, they're a little more on the wild side for some reason, but anyways, here, let's take a look. Hey, Mama, come here. You can see she's trying to bite me. Just today, I was trying to just put food in there. You got to watch this one. She'll take a nip, but she's the one that unfortunately had laid her babies all over on a real cold night, and there's only a few in here, but they're getting really big. I don't know if I can get in here. Let me see if I can hold her down and grab the. All right, so here's the brown babies. These are a little bit older. You can see they're pretty well developed. In fact, I'm surprised their eyes aren't open yet, but they're really close to being opened. But this mama, you got to be careful with her. She's, like I said, these brown ones you got to keep an eye on. By the way, that other mama, she had at least 8 babies, but 4 or 5 of them had died because she didn't have them all the way in the back pocket on a cold night. Now this one is, last time she was moving her box all over the place, and she's kind of settled down with this, so she's getting within a week of her due date, and so I think she's starting to get a little more in the family way of knowing what she needs to do. So, but it's another brown one. She's actually hasn't been aggressive at all, but after they have the babies, that can happen. Now this is the mama that I had graduated with the 9 babies from last time, if you remember. And it's kind of funny, they're all back here. Let me see if I can move this. See them all huddled back there. Some of them are, and then others are going to be right here. They're inside this thing. This has actually worked out really well. I had initially put the pine chips in here, and the babies did not like that at all. So when I put the Timothy hay, then they adapted to this really nicely. But these guys, gals, mix, whatever they are actually thriving very nicely. We've had very mild nights, so I haven't, ever since I moved them out here, I haven't had any need for heat lamps or anything. Gross. Where'd I get the poop from? This has been a good mama here. They look like little mice when they're young like this. Anyways, that's a tour of the babies. All I got left are teenagers out here and my males. Like I said, I got a whole weekend of processing to do to make room for the next batch. These guys are just doing wonderful. Hey, have a great day. It's a super overcast day. Don't think we're going to get any solar today. All right, God bless.